What's going on, guys? I'm Built, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a jar of dirt. Not jar. I'm going to be showing you how to make a giant block of dirt. But no, it's not even dirt. It's mud. I'm going to be showing you how to make a giant block of mud, just like this, in this tutorial video. So in order to make a giant cube of mud, you are going to need a giant cuber. And well, this part here is completely optional, and it is entirely up to you if you want to make this part of the tutorial or not. However, I will include it if you wish to make this. However, what we're going to be focusing on today is not the giant cube of mud. We're going to be focusing on this little machine here. And this little machine is where all of the mud came from, believe it or not. And it is actually very small and compact and works very, very well. And it never has to be filled up with bottles, never has to be filled up with any kind of water. All you have to do is simply put dirt, rooted dirt, or coarse dirt into this thing, and you will get mud out. This farm is totally automated, and all you need to do is go ahead and place down a piece of dirt here. Now, if you want to do a long AFK session instead of just getting a few pieces of dirt, you can go ahead and place in some dirt right here inside of this chest, and it's going to load all of that dirt down into this dropper here. So whenever we place in a piece of dirt here, it's going to instantly convert that into mud. And then we can just move over here and place in more dirt next to that piece of mud. And it's going to instantly convert that into mud and go ahead and push it out. Now whenever it gets to the very end of that smart piston, it's going to start pushing it sideways. And then once it gets all the way to the end of that observer, it will start pushing it up. And then whenever it gets all the way to the very top of that piston cuber, it will push the entire cube out by one. Now if I throw myself in survival, now you can see how many pieces of dirt that I have. So if I go ahead and place down another piece of dirt here, you can see every time that I place down a piece of dirt, it's going to replenish my supply. And that's because every time that this piston pushes out, it's going to give me another piece of dirt out of this dropper here. And you can fill this thing as full as you would like, as long as it does not exceed a double chest. And if it does, well, you can always extend this up however far you want. Now, if you are interested in the way that this thing works, we have a dispenser filled with water bottles, which is how we convert the mud. However, whenever you dispense the water bottle out of here, the empty water bottle will remain inside of this dispenser. So what we have is a sorting system here that will only pull out the empty water bottles and drop them down into this system here. It'll go down into this chest, and then it will funnel inside of this dispenser here. Now, this dispenser's job is to refill the water bottle. So whenever it gets an empty bottle inside of here, it will dispense a empty bottle, and whenever that happens, it's going to fill up that empty bottle and put it back inside of this dispenser. However, if the dispenser is filled with a water bottle that is already filled, as you can see here, then instead of pulling in water and putting it back into the dispenser, it will instead spit out the water bottle, and then it's going to go up this water column here and make its way into this hopper, where it will be stored inside of this chest here, and then recirculate inside of the system, ready to make some more mud. So it's basically a big giant loop that is going to continuously refill the water bottles, and you'll never have to put any kind of bottles or any kind of water in this after you initially fill it. The really cool thing with this farm though is if you want this farm to produce some clay as well, all you have to do is line the entire bottom of this block here with glass or whatever other block that you would like, and then you could just take some dripstone, place it on the bottom, and then it will slowly start to convert the bottom layer of this mud into clay blocks, which is really cool to have a way of making renewable clay. And as you can see, it does turn the mud into clay really quickly. Now, if your objective is to have this thing as a clay farm and not really a mud farm, then you can just go ahead and not make the entire cuber. You can just make this bottom layer to where it basically pushes out a sheet of mud, and then have this on the bottom. And then it will convert all of the mud into clay, and then you can harvest it and then make some more if that is your primary purpose for this farm. However, the clay is just a nice side note that I figured that I would mention. The primary purpose of this farm is of course going to be the mud. What do you say? Enough jibber jabber, let's get into building this thing. Everything that you're going to need is going to be down inside of the description below. Oh, and while you're down there, if you end up enjoying this video, go ahead and drop a like. It really does help out the channel. Thanks. So in order to build this thing, you really do want to chunk align this. If you need to figure out how to chunk align, I have a shorts video. I'll link it in the card right now. It uses the leaf method in order to help you figure out where the chunk lines are, and is really simple and easy to do and works on all of the devices. However, if you are down for downloading a resource pack, I have a really good one by Foxy No-Tail that will be linked down inside of the description below. The one that I'm using is the one by Foxy, and we can go ahead and double tap on that, and you can see the chunk lines here. We have all four corners of our chunk marked out. So we know this thing is going to be chunk aligned, it's going to be nice and reliable, and we won't have any issues with it. So once you get done marking out all 4 corners of the chunk that you are in, you want to lay down a platform that's going to be 3 blocks wide by 8 blocks long, and it should look just like this. You can go ahead and go to whatever corner you would like, and we're going to start placing down some blocks in order to make a impulse SV sorting system. So the way that we want to do that is we're going to place down a solid block on this corner here. We're going to place down a block here, a block on top, one to the left and one to the right. That's going to be the basis of what we need to build this. We're going to take a repeater and face it into that block there on a 1-tick delay with a redstone torch on the other end of that block. Next, we're going to grab our redstone dust and place 1, 2, and 3 here with a redstone comparator facing towards that. We are then going to want to take a hopper, and we're going to crouch place a hopper going into that comparator there. We're going to place down a temporary block here. Go ahead and grab us a chest, and we're going to crouch place a chest here. Remove that temporary block with a hopper going into the side of it. Next, we are going to come around to this block here. We are going to go ahead and grab us a dispenser. We're going to grab our sticky piston and come around to this block here. We're going to place down a sticky piston facing in this direction. We're going to place down a temporary block here with an observer facing into it. Make sure that output arrow is facing that way. Then we're going to go ahead, remove that temporary block, place down another observer facing into that observer, and then we're going to temporarily power that to push it into place. You can go ahead and unpower that, and then we are going to take a solid block that redstone can pass through. Place your solid block right here with your dispenser facing this direction. Next, we're going to take some glass. We're going to place glass here, here, and here. And then we're going to come around to this side with a hopper and crouch place a hopper going into that dispenser there that is directly underneath that chest. Next, we are going to go directly on top of this hopper here, and we are going to grab our dispensers. We're going to crouch and jump and place a dispenser facing straight up. Then we are going to build out over top of this comparator in redstone by 2, 1 and 2. And then we're going to build to the right, and on this right block here, we're going to place down a dropper facing straight up with a piece of glass right here. Next, we're going to take a hopper and place a hopper facing into the side of that dropper, and then we're going to take a double chest and place a double chest here, and the other side of it hanging off this direction towards the right. Next, we want to come around to this side here. We're going to grab our hoppers, and we're going to place a hopper going into the side of that dispenser there. Then we're going to place a hopper going into the right side of that hopper there. And then we are going to go on top here, grab our chest, and we're going to jump and crouch place a chest right here with another hopper facing into the top of it, just like this. Next, come around to the other side of it, and we are going to grab our solid building blocks, and we're going to build out by 2. And then we're going to place one on the top here. On this side here, you can go ahead and place a lever on this side here or this side, it does not matter. I'll go ahead and place it right here. Then you are going to grab your repeaters, and we're going to place a repeater here. Leave this on the default 1-tick delay, and then we're going to place a repeater here. Put this one on a 3-tick delay. If you are on a server or realms and there is a little bit of lag, you may have to put this on a 4-tick delay, which will make the farm a little bit slower. However, the default setting for this is 3 for most worlds. Next, you can go ahead and grab some more redstone dust. We're going to place down redstone dust here, here, and here. And then you're going to place a regular piston here facing towards this dispenser here. The next thing that you're going to want to do is grab your glass and come over here to where this lower dispenser is. We're going to go ahead and place some glass here, 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 and here. And we're just going to tower this all the way up until you get all the way up here. And once you reach this point, you're going to have it to where it will start to overflow. So you're going to want to bring this over, place a glass block here, bring this over, place a glass block here, and then you can place a temporary block here, put one here, remove that temporary block, and then build this up. That way the water is going to come up and overflow into here. What you want to do next is go ahead and place down a temporary block right here, and then we're going to place a bucket of water on top of that. Go ahead and remove that temporary block. Now we want to swim all the way down to the bottom here. Go ahead and remove this block here, place down a piece of dirt here, and we're going to bring kelp all the way up until it's at the very top. Then we can go ahead and swim all the way back down here. The reason why we're doing this is to make all of this into solid blocks of water, and then we can replace that block that we initially removed. Now you don't want to make this into a bubble column because then the water filling will not work. You want to leave this a regular column of water. Next, what you need to do is place a cap on this, so go ahead and bring this across here and remove those temporary blocks, and this thing is done. Now all we have to do is fill it with items. So in order to set up this machine and get it prime, what we need to do is go to this hopper that's directly underneath that dispenser, and we are going to set up the sorting system here. we need 4 blocks that will never be going through the system, so we can go ahead and put in our 4 blocks here, leave the very first space empty here, and then we're going to throw in some glass bottles here, and it's going to drain all of those out until there is 41 glass bottles left inside of this hopper. Now if you want to guarantee that this thing never breaks and by chance somebody just comes along and throws some crimson planks in here, then you can go ahead and rename these if you would like, and rename them to something that is different than the crimson planks. Then you never have to worry about anything going in this machine and breaking it. However, the likelihood of somebody using an item and throwing it in here to break it would be very, very unlikely. Just make sure that you use a more or less common item. So in order to get this thing primed up, we just want to take a stack or 2 of bottles inside of here and throw them inside of this chest. And then we want to come around here and power this piston right here. So we can go ahead and grab a lever and temporarily throw a lever on here and go ahead and start powering that, and that's going to start filling up all of these bottles. As you can see, you have a bunch of the glass bottles coming inside of here, and the empty water bottles are being dispensed out and going up into the system. It's going to come around here and then start to fill up this chest. Now once this chest is fully filled up, it's going to start filling up the hoppers, and once that happens, it's going to start overflowing. Now I put too many bottles inside of here. However, once you get to this point to where they are done overflowing, you can go ahead and turn that off, remove the remaining bottles out of here, go ahead and grab the remaining bottles from here, and the machine is fully primed. So now this thing is totally full, this thing is totally full, and this thing is totally empty, and the machine is ready to go. The very first time that you use this machine, you want to go ahead and crouch place a block on top of that dispenser there, and it's going to turn that into mud. And then after that point, you can go ahead and just keep on placing your mud down. There is a new glitch to where if you hold this down, it'll want to kind of place it on top. So if you want to keep that from happening, you can just go ahead and place down a piece of glass here and there if you would like, and then just kind of get close to the corner, and then you can just AFK here and hold down that block. Now since we're at the push limit, that has completely stopped and it's not going to push any further. Well guys, that's going to wrap up this fully automatic mud machine. Now I know what you're thinking, and that is, well, didn't you say that this thing does concrete too? Well, in order to make this thing do concrete, you have to rip the whole thing out and then build it a different way. Okay, I'm only joking. We don't have to do that. All you have to do is go ahead and take you a block and put a block down here, put a block down here. That way we have a shelf for the concrete to come out on. Then we're going to place down a block here, a temporary block here, then you're going to place in a block here, here, and here, and then we can go ahead and remove that. Then we have a little pocket here. So now we're just going to place in some temporary blocks here. So we'll go ahead and put some mud in here, and then you want to fill this up with water. And now we are all ready to make concrete. The only thing that we need to do is to turn off this dispenser, and the way that we're going to do that is going to be place the lever here and go ahead and turn it on. It will go ahead and dispense 1 more water bottle. You can go ahead and take the water bottles and put them back inside of this chest here and inside of the hopper here. And then the only thing that you need to do in order to make concrete is go ahead and start placing in your concrete. So I went ahead and removed those temporary mud blocks in the end there. So now we have nothing but concrete. So we can go ahead and place down some more concrete powder. And then it's automatically going to start pushing out concrete blocks that are already converted from concrete powder into concrete. These concrete blocks will work exactly the same as the mud will with the cuber, so if you want this all cubed up, all you have to do is build a cuber as well. Speaking of the cuber behind me, if you want to learn how to build that, I've gone ahead and uploaded that into a totally separate video, so if you want to see that, then go ahead and click the video on the right hand side at the very end of this video. If you want to see more content from me, but you don't want to see the cuber video, then go ahead and click the video on the left hand side. That's going to be a video that YouTube recommends that you will like, based on the things that you like on your YouTube channel. If you think this video deserved a like, then go ahead and drop a like for me, as it really does help out the channel. And if you really like this video, then consider subscribing, that way you don't miss any of the new 1.19 farms coming up on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.